Welcome, everyone, to another bowel-evacuating episode of the R&R podcast, where we know that the only thing that can make the Queen of England smile is Randy Watkins in a leopard print speedo. I'm your host, Robert Jones, along with my co-host and animal husbandry specialist, Randy Watkins.
Hello, Robert, you bloody wanker.
So what you're saying is, Randy, you know your way around the back end of a farm animal. Is that correct?
Hood, hike.
Ba means yes, but ba also means no, Randy.
Hello, how's it going, Robert?
Oh, no. You watched the royal wedding, didn't you?
Oh, yes. I sure did.
Oh, God. Oh, no.
A lovely wedding it was.
Folks, Randy Watkins thinks he's British. God help us all.
It's a beautiful wedding of Prince Harry and what's her face from the TV show Suits.
Meghan Markle make you want to sparkle?
Yes. It was beautiful, except for the Queen had the same old British look on her face the whole time.
Ah, where they look like they're sucking on a urinal puck, huh? Stiff upper lip and stiff lower lip and stiff eyes and nose.
Well, Bishop Curry did his best to change that. So,
man, that man came to preach.
brought the house with him, which is what you and I expected. Now he kind of exposed the world to who Bishop Curry is, and it was awesome.
He performed well on the world stage. He showed the Anglicans in a big way. It's like, like, hey, man, we started the Anglican Church, and he's like, hold my beer. I'm about to rip a hole wide open in this mother. Yep.
Oh, yeah, they're all smiling, and then you see them 5 minutes in, they start itching around in their seats like they're trying to squeeze a fart out of one side of the cheek of their ass, and they're like, oh, man.
Shout out to my main squeeze, QE2, representing the UK all day. How you doing, girl? You keeping that thing tight? You know what I'm saying? Woo! I don't think Bishop Curry would appreciate that kind of language. Oh, man.
He does not endorse this podcast.
I didn't watch the royal wedding because gingers don't have souls, and therefore it wasn't actually, he had nothing to bond, so Plus, I don't want to watch those child grabbing Rothschild-esque old blood European inbred suckers claim power that they don't really have. I think it's kind of disgusting as an American. It makes me want to throw tea in water and blow something up.
Well, the quote I saw this week was, yes, after how many hundreds of years, we have finally infiltrated the UK, and the Revolutionary War shall continue.
Oh, say, can you see under the boot of my American heel?
Oh, yes. So the royal wedding was all ago in my house. Everyone was excited about it. My wife loves it. Her mom loves it. So we were definitely up for it.
Randy, did you have a decorative hat?
I forgot the name of what they're called. It's a particular name. But
it's referred to as a ponce piece.
No, I did not wear my hat.
Your ponce piece? You were without your ponce piece?
I did have my tea and crumpets.
Ooh, crumpets, as it were. This is a lot of stuff that isn't sports. At some point, we're going to have to get into it. But
yes.
But Randy, you're coming in a little clear. You're sounding brighter, more crisp. Have you stopped drinking?
Crisp? No. See, I went out to the local flea market this weekend, and I picked up a new microphone, so all of my fans out there could hear me as clear as a whistle.
Oh, Lord. Hide your kids. Oh, my God. Herbert from down the street. I am not going in your basement looking for popsicles, old man.
Come on down. I got grape flavor, strawberry, whatever your passion is.
Why does everything
right
in
now.
your house? Why does everything in your house taste salty or like menthol?
Don't mind the smell of chloroform. It's just it's a new cologne I got.
Does this rag smell like chloroform to you? God. All right, enough on that. Yes. So let's talk about some other criminals for a moment. We got some more PED suspensions. Or one big suspension.
It's like one a week that we're talking about. This time it hits the Major League Baseball. So
it hits our man Robinson cannot play this season for 80 games.
Yeah. So he is in the midst of a 10-year, $240 million contract with the Mariners that runs through 2023. His stats this year while he was playing, he was hitting a 287 with an 825 on-base percentage and 23 RBIs through 39 games. He tested positive for what's called furosemide, a diuretic that's often used to mask PED use.
You sure it wasn't, to help with a kidney disorder? Yeah, man. I mean, it's and of course for him to be like, well, I was in the Dominican Republic. I didn't know what I was taking. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Easy way out.
I told you, man, this stuff doesn't surprise me. It just doesn't shock me anymore. Like, and you look at Robinson Cano hitting the league, his rookie year to what he looks like now, he's way beefier than he was then. Mm-hmm. But so many of these PEDs, they aren't even about bulking up. They're about, healing quicker. So who knows?
Mm-hmm. And he's 35. You can imagine a guy at 35, okay, he's not 22 years old taking this stuff or whatever. Yeah. That was the thing that I just, again, we have a case of another quote unquote alleged PED use, but no confirmation. So it's only, they didn't even find any PEDs. They found a diuretic that's used to mask PED usage and suspended him 80 games on that. So, it didn't stop the NFL from suspending what's his face in New Orleans, Mark. What's his name? There with Kamara. We talked about Ingram. Didn't stop him from just suspending him, and now Major League's all over it too.
Yeah, and baseball's always wanted to bring the hammer down on these guys. I mean, 80 games—that's half the season, man. That's huge.
Mm-hmm. And like you, I think you've said it before, and I never knew this, but that once that happens, you are no longer eligible for the postseason. So if the Mariners make the postseason, he is not eligible.
Well, how many games have they played thus far? Oh, right. Yeah. Right. It doesn't matter if they make the postseason. That's right, because of the rule.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big deal. So basically, like, it ends his year. I mean, he'll get to play some at the end of the year. But you got to think, too, with a suspension like that cuts into his pay. So that's a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
That's a big deal. But this is the second big guy in the last 5 years that's come down. Remember everything going on with Ryan Braun with HGH.
I do remember that.
And his was
that ruined his career, man. I haven't heard from him since.
Yeah.
It really was, because he was one of the top hitters at the time.
That was a big deal
when that happened.
I told you, man, I like all my heroes in baseball from childhood got smashed and hit with PED use. So like at this point, I just don't care. Like if everybody's going to do it, like people like, well, I believe in the virtuous players who don't do it. I just don't buy it. Like I get a feeling that everybody's doing what they can to cheat all the time. Anyways.
I think it's definitely cut down, since there's only been 2 players announced this year for PED usage. The other was Jorge Polanco from the Twins. He also received an 80-game suspension. That seems to be the average is 80 games being half the season, like you said. There were only 2 last year as well. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 10 in 2016. So it's cut down considerably since, I guess, the steroid era in the early 2000s. So, I think they've come a long way with testing, but you still have them hit from time to time. Yeah, Braun was back in actually 2013.
Yeah, God, so time flies.
How time flies, right? That was the same year that A-Rod was suspended for the whole season. They dropped 162 games on him.
You know what would kill the sport is if Mike Trout tested positive.
Yeah. Seriously. You have a big name like that everybody looks up to.
Well, and he's good on both sides of the ball. He's a great hitter and great on defense, He's their star. Right now, I think he's got the best brand in baseball. But, I don't know what you do about it, Randy, because it just seems like everybody's doing it, and I don't think I think guys are going to keep finding ways to not get caught. Especially if you're suspending a guy based on a drug that's a diuretic that is oftentimes used to mask PED use, but you have no proof of the actual PED use. I mean, I don't know, man. That's a tenuous legal situation there. Yeah.
Right. That's the rabbit hole. I mean, how far could you go with that?
Well, let me put something in perspective for you, Randy. I take a diuretic for my high blood pressure. Have ever since I was 13 years old. And heaven forbid, I don't know. Could it be possible that a player, is retaining some water or has some kidney function issues or has high blood pressure and somebody prescribes them, a straight diuretic, not a traditional blood pressure pill or those kinds of things? Yeah, that's definitely in the realm of possibility for a doctor who isn't used to dealing with a star athlete and doesn't know what's on the not kosher list. You know what I mean?
Right.
And these guys go home, they play other places, they travel. So it's always interesting to see the court cases that happen from this, but baseball doesn't screw around. You have a better chance in the NFL of getting rid of a suspension than you do in baseball. With baseball, with what they've bargained, you're basically screwed.
Oh yeah.
Remember Ryan Braun? I mean, he really tried to fight his and lost.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, no, I think he did. I feel like he won part of the battle, but I mean, it effectively took him out that season.
Right. I think he was suspended much longer than the 65-game penalty he ended up with.
Yeah.
But it effectively ruined his career. I mean, it really did. He hasn't done much since then. At least maybe he has. I haven't really kept up with him, but it's been nothing like he was before 2013.
That is the truth.
So, I mean, I don't think you can attribute it, and we've talked about it before. Steroids doesn't make you hit a baseball any better.
No, it helps you heal faster.
Yeah. So, it doesn't help him hit it any farther either. So,
it really just comes down to mechanics. I mean, me with my spindly arms at our last softball game, I had a ball that was out at the fence and I hardly swung on that thing. So it's really, it does come down to the mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
So
timing is everything. So anyways, Robinson Cano out for pretty much the year. We'll see if anybody else follows.
Better that he tests positive when he's on the Mariners and not on my Yankees. We got enough problems there. Oh man, Randy, I can feel it. It's in the air. Let's get into that topic that you hate.
Breathe it in. It's the NHL update.
Yes, sir. Your Las Vegas Knights won their series against Winnipeg 4-1. Booyakasha.
Yeah, they continue their inaugural season run.
The best storyline in the playoffs right now. I mean, it's the feel-good story of the year, Randy. It's the feel-good story of the year. Nothing like a city of degenerates and gamblers to win something to really uplift the spirits.
I watched some of that game yesterday, and the entire second period, their defense was just smothering Winnipeg. Anytime Winnipeg would even get close or have some sort of power play, they just smothered them. And, Marc-Andre Fleury is just, he's just insane to watch. One of the best goalies in the league.
Marc-Andre Fleury sounds like a French film director.
Have you seen the newest film from Andre Fleury?
Oh no, I haven't seen the Andre Fleury.
It's a tour de force.
It debuted at Cannes this year.
Cannes.
I believe you mean to say.
It's a
Con.
It's a shockumentary.
I would love to see you walk up to Jimmy Con and call him Jimmy Can.
Hello, Mr. Can. How you doing?
It's a pleasure to meet you. This is Randy Watkins. You don't know who I am, but I know who you is, and I jerk off to you about 3 times a day. But yeah, that's beside the point. Can I get your autograph? Too much? Too much? A little too blue? A little too blue? You know what they say, you go blue, you never play the big rooms, kid. That's what Frankie used to say.
Oh, Frankie boy.
Yeah.
You gotta watch out for him.
But and in other NHL news, we've got the Tampa Bay Lightning up 3-2 on your Caps, boy.
Yeah. Caps blew a 2-0 lead. So
that's kind of been the story of this postseason for hockey, because I'm pretty sure Winnipeg won their first game against Vegas. So
yeah. So all the doubt is already creeping in to DC that, here we go. The Caps playing like the Caps normally do and choking in the playoffs. So
here we go again on my own, choking out of the playoffs, even at home.
They're playing right now, but it's a 0-0 game in the first period. So we'll see. I really hope the Caps tie it back up tonight and we go to Game 7.
I don't think the NHL is wincing at the loss of Winnipeg. Not a huge market, you know what I mean? But the idea of losing a DC market to Tampa Bay. I mean, think about it. Vegas and Tampa Bay preseason. I don't know if I'm not an expert. I wouldn't have picked those two teams. I might have said Tampa Bay could have contended because they had a good season last year. But other than that, I mean, it's just, Randy, this is the first time in 10 years I've given a crap about the Stanley Cup. And it's because it's just,
same here.
The series have been so good. Lots of back and forth, lots of high scoring games.
Yeah. For once, I give a crap about it too. So I'm with you on that. There's been good storylines, especially with the Las Vegas Golden Knights, and we'll see what they can do. First team since 68, I think it was. So 50 years since an expansion team in all 4 major sports have made it in their first year. So their odds actually at the beginning of the season were 500-1. So somebody's getting rich off the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, but they only put a dollar down. So. I got 500 wing wangs.
Hey, 500% markup. I'll take it.
That's right, buddy boy.
So so we'll see how it shakes down, but it could be the Golden Knights versus Tampa Bay Lightning. We'll see what that the storyline's obviously going to be. Everyone pulling for Las Vegas at that point. So
that's right.
Guess we'll see what happens. So.
All right, it's time for your favorite segment of the show, Randy, with Panthers Perch. Actually, there's no news. There's no news at Panthers Perch this week. So moving on to the next story.
Wait, I thought it was Panthers Corner.
It was Panthers Corner, but I've changed it to Panthers Perch. I wanted to call it Panthers Pogrom, but I have some people who told me that was really offensive. So I'm gonna nix that.
Panthers Perch.
Some very nice Jewish friends of mine were like, "Yeah, it's not kosher, Robert." Sorry, I should have said they're Jewish. They said, Robert, that's not kosher. Because they're New York Hasids. Yeah, I'm tight with that Orthodox.
You fool!
What are you, Mashugana? Fakakta in the head. Hold on. I got too much spilkish in my Genecticus. Like,
That's a great Mel Brooks impersonation.
Well, I told you. It's funny. I do have a Jewish ancestor, and so we actually had some Yiddish get passed down through the family. It's the weirdest thing, because you'll have these people from Reidsville, North Carolina, that mix in little Yiddishisms, and it's like, where the hell did this come from? But it's from my ancestor, Zephalia Newman. What a name. I told Bree we should name our daughter Zephalia, and she's like, no.
Zephalia.
Yeah.
How's it spelled?
So there's some debate on that, because the record is spelled a couple of different ways, but I've always seen it spelled Zephalia, Zephalia, or maybe Zyphalia.
That's gonna get butchered.
Of course it is, but it's pretty,
setting that poor girl up for failure. It is.
It's not like Dane Cook who wanted to name one of his daughters.
Oh, Dane Cook. Where is he now?
His brother stole
Talk about a blast
his
from the
brother.
past.
His brother swindled him out of millions of dollars, and he's on the road making it back.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Gosh, I remember him back in the day. He was really good.
Yeah, he had a huge. I mean, like I said, he still
movies.
performs, but he's not nearly at the same level as before. But what a sad story. I mean,
there's a lot of people that don't like Dane Cook too.
Well, the way the comedy world is, if you have any success, people hate you. It's the same way with Seinfeld.
True.
The minute you have success, well, it's like they hate all the blue collar comedy guys because they make hand over freaking fist. I mean, it's just like they pick on them because they're jealous. Most comics struggle for 20 years. Like, that's the one thing about Mark Maron is like, you don't want to hear him talk about other comics because he basically hates them all. And it's like, come on, man. Don't be so jelly.
Speaking of comics, have you checked out Dan Cummins' podcast yet?
No,
it's pretty cool.
I have not. I got to tell you, man, his Sanpaku eyes just, they're scaring me off.
Damn Sanpaku eyes.
Damn you, Sanpaku.
I can't look at anybody the same again.
Oh, Sanpaku-san, how can you be so flippant and yet so desirable?
Desirable. Yeah, his podcast is awesome. I just got through listening to a series on JFK where he broke down the assassination. It was really cool. So he'll spend the entire week.
The grassy knoll.
The grassy knoll.
There was a second shooter. He was a reptile, and they're turning the frogs gay.
He never could have made that shot. He wasn't even a marksman in the military.
Obama's conception was an inside job. Well, I mean, probably inside his mother's vagina.
CIA.
I mean, that's generally how babies are made, Alex. Oh, man.
Alex Jones.
I dragged you down a rabbit trail, Rando. What do we got to talk about now?
Yeah. The NBA, still playoffs going on. Cavs finally came back and won a game last night against Boston.
They put a thumping on them.
Yeah. And LeBron's been scoring. It's not even his fault. He's just, his players around him. It's just lack of scoring. Boston is have been doing it without
Here's
Kyrie.
the hot take from the game last night with the Cavs. LeBron scored 27 points on 12 shots.
Wow.
That is some crazy efficiency. I mean, that's crazy efficiency. But it meant that everybody else stepped up, and they still beat Boston by like 30 points.
Yeah. Oh, they crushed them last night.
Well, hopefully they can do it again and make it a series. If they can get it to 2-2, then it becomes a 3-game series, and they're not out of it. You know what I mean? When you get to 2-2, it's like you've wiped the slate clean. You start over again.
Well, everyone counted, LeBron out too when they were down 3-1 against Golden State 2 years ago too, and everyone counted him out. This is his MO. I mean, he can play from behind. It doesn't bother him at all. And like you said, he even steps up more in times of disparity and being down. So 2-0 is nothing for him.
Yeah.
He wasn't worried at all.
Yeah.
So also down 2-1 are the Houston Rockets.
To Golden State, yeah.
Are you surprised?
I am surprised because they played such a great game too, and Golden State went home and they beat the Rockets by 40 points. I mean, they trounced them up and down the court. Now, I heard an interesting take that now the pressure more than anything else is on Golden State because now they have to win Game 4. Because if they lose Game 4, then they're going back to Houston where Houston's fan base came alive in the last game. So if the Rockets are able to take one away from Golden State at home, again, it becomes a 2-2 series, and it's like you've wiped the slate clean, and you're going back. The Rockets' home court advantage comes back into play. So, but again, I mean,
and they need that because playing in Golden State is very
that's
tough.
A hostile environment, man. Those fans are rabid. They are rabid.
Sea of blue and gold there. So, they need Game 4. I heard Steve Kerr talking about that after Game 3. He's like, we're already talking about Game 4. We're getting ready for that because they know exactly what you said that
in Houston,
the Rockets are gonna be.
Yeah, they're gonna bring it. Houston has no choice. Game 4 is a must win for Houston. So I wouldn't rule them out. I know last night's loss looks bad, but this whole series, all the playoffs in the Eastern Conference Finals and the Western Conference Finals, the closest game was 13 points, Randy. The closest game so far has been 13 points. So we're talking about teams that are trading blowouts. So it could just as easily swing back Houston's way. I mean, it just depends on who's on. Steph had a good night last night, but will he have a good night the next game? Who knows? He's kind of been injured the end of this year. So.
Right.
All right.
He was very animated last night, so it seems like
he feeds off that.
Durant's been carrying. Yeah, he had 35 points. So Durant's been carrying that team, dude, and they cannot go back and win a championship without Steph Curry. I'll just say it right now. They need Steph Curry. Kevin Durant can't do it on his own. Look how many years he tried to do it on its own, even with Russell Westbrook out in Oklahoma, and they couldn't get it done. Right. So, he needs that accomplished, if you will, and they also need Draymond Green and Klay Thompson to step up and be their roles too. So, we'll see. It'll be an interesting game 4.
I certainly hope so.
We still have to get together, and I would still like to watch a game together. I know our schedules have been pretty crazy here lately, and this week's another busy week. Yeah. But
I'm with you.
I still would like.
I'd love to watch an NBA game. I'd love to watch an NHL game. Like the first game of the Stanley Cup would be great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd be up for that.
I'd be like, "Where's the highlighted puck? I can't see this damn thing going around the ring."
My talk about poor people problems. I've only got a 32-inch screen. Boo hoo hoo. I think about the tiny TVs I grew up with, and now my 6-year-old TV now is no. God, it's got to be more than that. God, I'm getting up there. I'm getting long in the tooth. It's like an 8-year-old TV. It's a 32-inch.
I had a speaking of TVs when we were kids, I had a battery operated TV that looked like the ghost trap device from Ghostbusters. It was long and square, and it couldn't have been no more than an 8-inch TV, and it was black and white. And you could only, hold the antenna at a certain angle, and it was just, pick up like 2 channels if you're lucky.
You're looking
it's like a portable quote unquote.
You're
TV.
A young man, so you're looking real close, and you're like, I think that's Jennifer Aniston's nipples poking out, but I can't tell. Jesus, I got to work with what I got.
I'm giving it everything I got here.
I'm giving her all she got, Captain.
I can't go any higher.
All right, more sports.
So, all right, more sports.
Johnny football news.
So, yeah, not much happening in the NFL this week other than Johnny Manziel signing with the Hamilton Tiger Cats. They need not only one name to be a team there, they need 2 names, a hyphenated name.
Is there such thing as a tiger
the
that
Tiger
isn't a cat?
Cats.
I don't think so.
Exactly. I was reading that and I was like, are you for real? We have to call ourselves not the Hamilton Tigers or the Hamilton Cats. We have to be the Tiger hyphenated Cats.
They should just put A at the end of it. The Hamilton Tiger Cats, eh?
Cats, eh? Hey, we're going to go out and watch some football, eh? I heard Johnny Manziel, he's in town. Special on Poo team tonight at the arena. Yeah,
that guy sure knows how to party.
Here. I got a rental car. I'm going to take it out. I'm going to have some fun. Yeah.
Jesus.
We're going to
go. So here's the deal.
We love making fun of Canadians on this podcast.
They're
awesome.
like, it's like an apartment over a great party, It's just, you're not invited, but you can hear all the noise going on below.
Their apartment is their country over our country. Yep.
And they're always coming down like, hey, would you quiet it down if you don't mind? And we're like, whoa, we're halfway there.
Oh,
that's
awesome.
But thoughts and prayers for Johnny Manziel. Actually, I really hope he does well in the CFL because, like, I want him to be redeemed, man. Somebody like him who has been busted down as far low as he did. Obviously, it was mistakes he made. you always hope that when somebody struggles with addiction, that they're able to get past it and that they can clean their lives up. So I hope he does great in the CFL, and who knows, if he does really well, maybe he can come be a backup quarterback in the NFL again. But we'll see.
Yeah, he's still going to make $122,000 base with signing bonuses. They actually have a housing stipend and other things. So total, I mean, he's going to still look at making $202,000 for playing Canadian football.
That's nothing.
He's still not doing bad for himself.
Well, remember Doug Flutie of Boston College fame played in the CFL for years and years.
And he finally got a shot.
That's right.
So we'll see. I don't know if this, and that's what my question was going to be to you. Will this help his NFL dreams again, or hurt them?
Well, I mean, I don't think it can hurt them. The fact that he's active, working out, staying in the sport, and playing helps. It's keeping him in shape and keeping him employed in football. So, what this means for him long term, we'll just have to see. But he has to prove himself. I don't know where the Hamilton Tiger Cats stand in the Canadian standings. So I don't know what kind of a team they are. I really don't know anything about the CFL. I mean, I know the rules of the CFL, but I don't follow the CFL.
Right. So yeah, we'll see. We've talked about him before on this podcast. We wish him well, but it looks like he's going to be playing north of the border for now. So we'll see what happens with him. JJ Watt actually came out and said he's going to do a great thing this week, paying for the funerals of all the victims from the Santa Fe High School. I thought that was a great. He's been huge in the community in Houston, doing a lot after raising funds after the hurricane.
$30 million, $30+ million, like $35 million, I think is what he raised after the hurricane.
Yep, and did it easily. So, here we are again, where he's doing something for the community. Just can't commend that enough after a tragedy that has.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, can't commend him enough for doing something like this. So, thought it was really good.
What a freaking attention whore! Am I right, ladies? No. I mean, he's an incredible philanthropist, and he's not just a great player, but he understands investing in his community, and he does a ton to give back. He's undoubtedly going to be a recipient of the Walter Payton Award one day. I have no doubt. If he hasn't already won it,
I wish. And I know that there are players in sports that are philanthropists that do a lot, with their time. But I this is what they should be doing. They should be more involved in their communities at a larger level, not just, I went down to the soup kitchen this weekend and did that. Well, that's great. Right. That's something that, we could do at our level. And, when you're a pro sports athlete making millions of dollars, I think you should be, you are called, I think, to give back to your community in a larger level. So, I'd like to see this. I'd like to see this out of more players. You don't hear this from big names like Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers and guys like that. But I think it certainly, helps their brand and helps, I guess, raise awareness for whatever cause they're helping.
Tom Brady's already given enough charity. The first one was marrying that horse-faced supermodel, keeping her off the streets. But secondly, he made sure that Wes Welker had a Super Bowl ring. So, that really is charitable. And Bill Belichick was finally able to afford a new goddamn sweatshirt. It's been a while since we've had Bill Belichick on the show. So, Mr. Belichick, how are you doing in this offseason? Are you ready for the next season? Are you preparing well?
I'm great. I'm watching these new shows on Netflix.
Oh, yeah?
Have you seen Lost in Space yet?
No, I haven't seen Lost in Space. Is it any good, Mr. Belichick?
Well, when I'm not looking at X's and O's, I like thinking about space odysseys, like the Twilight Zone and stuff like that.
When you say X's and O's, are those the hugs and kisses from the love letters that Tom Brady writes you every day?
I actually can't comment on that.
Bro,
Brady and I maintain a professional relationship. I only call him on nights and weekends because I still have a Cricket Wireless plan.
Mr.
And
Coach Belichick.
It's free nights and weekends.
Coach Belichick, do you have any hands-on experience with helping Tom deflate his balls?
No comment on that either.
Well, thank you very much for your time, Coach Belichick. I appreciate your time, as always, coming on the show. You're a man of few words, so we always appreciate your contributions.
Go screw yourself.
Oh, great. Yeah, the unending monotone. That was Bill Belichick. Yeah, it was great for him to show up and contribute to the show. You know, it's always nice to have him on call.
Thanks, Bill.
Yeah, Randy, by the way, you can pipe up at any time when he comes on the show. Feel free to ask a question. I mean, I don't know. Geez, it's not my show. You can ask him a question, too.
It's my show. It's my island.
Get off my island. You can't have it. It's my show.
Oh, you don't make me come back to the show,
God.
now, brother.
Oh, man.
You all know whose show this really is. Oh, yeah.
Macho Man Randy Watkins has returned.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God almighty. All right, I think we got one last piece of news of football, Macho Man.
Oh, yeah. A 3-time Pro Bowler, D'Angelo Hall. He retired this week from the Redskins.
That's great. Good riddance.
He's been struck with some injuries over the last few years. It's ACLs, MCLs, PCLs, you name it. That guy's
would have been struck with if he wasn't careful. That's the elbow. That's right, brother. The big old people's elbow right on top of the crown of his head. I got him for 3 Pro Bowls. I got you for 3 minutes in the ring.
Yeah, so it was time for him to go. He couldn't stay healthy, although a lot of people believe he could be in a front office position not too far in the future. So we'll see what happens with Mr. Hall.
Well, don't you know? Howdy do.
Yeah, he was an enigma. You know, a few years ago.
Enigma, that's a big word, Randy.
He had a 6 interception game. I remember watching that game. It was like they just kept throwing to him.
Talk about having somebody's number. Jesus Christ, 6 interceptions.
Yeah, 6 interceptions
that's
in
more
one
catches,
game. Look it up.
That's
it
more
really
catches
happened.
than his wide receivers.
It happened. He was fast.
You know what it was?
He used to be really fast. He was a great cover corner.
Racist quarterback who couldn't tell them apart. That's what it was.
Well, they converted him to safety a couple of years ago, and it's just trying to convert a corner to safety just doesn't work. They don't have the size typically. You have to start from a safety position very early on. It's usually a really fast linebacker that can convert as long as he's got the cover speed. So, but yeah, it just didn't work. He didn't have the size. He was no longer able to cover like he used to. So I wish him well.
All right. In more horse-faced news, Justify wins the Preakness, the second leg of the Triple Crown.
Woo! Another muddy race.
Yeah. So what I've learned is that if it's going to rain at the Belmont Stakes, I like Justify, but of course, now that he's won two, all the conversation is about the Triple Crown.
Oh, of course, yep. Which he's looked really good in both races. I mean, some are saying that he's looked better than American Pharoah. So, and I don't think the field has looked quite as good. So, as years past. So. He could definitely win a Triple Crown for sure.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, the thing is, his competition just doesn't seem to be there,
Yeah. That's exactly what I was saying. Yep. He's blowing them away by several lengths.
Yeah.
So, Derek had actually texted me. He was like, "We should get together and watch the Belmont, but we're actually going to be out of town. I want to try and catch it somehow, though.
I just want to put some action on it."
Yeah, I would definitely get on that action. So
it probably wouldn't pay out much.
No, not now. You're probably absolutely right. about that. So I think he's going to do it. We'll just go ahead and say that. Not a bold prediction, but I think it's another Triple Crown is in the works, which is cool. So, yeah. Dude, did you see the I thought you would appreciate this story, especially since you're expecting, but I'm not sure if you watched this video yet, but there was a gender reveal over the weekend, and it was a baseball-themed gender reveal.
Yes.
Why don't you describe to us what was in the video?
I did see the video. So anyway, so the idea, with all these gender reveal parties, it's the idea of doing something cute to reveal pink or blue, if it's a boy or a girl. And in this case, they had a fake baseball full of powder, of like chalk powder that was of the color blue or pink. Well, the idea is they were going to pitch it, and the father was going to hit it with a baseball bat, and it would explode, and everybody would see. The only problem is he didn't swing, and I don't know why they put the pregnant woman as the quote unquote catcher, but it nails her right in the forehead and explodes blue powder everywhere.
Oh, it's like batting practice, dude. You gotta swing. It doesn't matter. It's a high pitch, man. His baseball, I guess he probably played baseball. Obviously, it was why he wanted to do a reveal like this, but he doesn't swing. He watches it. Smash right in the face. It was just, I was laughing my ass off because why did you, of all moments, you pick not to swing?
And of all the people, God, the pregnant lady should not be behind somebody swinging a bat anyway.
If you're catching, you got to be ready for that pitch just in case.
All I'm saying is DSS is keeping a close eye on that couple. Yeah, they're already making bad decisions. I don't know why the DSS in my head was a Canadian, but when I think nanny state, Canadians come to mind.
Oh, the Canadians.
Oh God, Canadian Cajuns. Yeah, we're going to make that Creole and put that maple syrup all over it. Oh, would you want to try that mousse jambalaya?
Oh, Canadians.
So, Randy, you had an idea for the show. Do you want to share it?
Yeah, I thought it would be really cool. We're coming up. Probably, I think we're overdue for a bonus episode, my friend, for our Patreon subscribers. So we would like to have a special guest on our very first bonus episode. So we'd like for you to let us know why you should be that guest and what sports topic you would like to talk about. Consider it like a short stories episode where we would devote an entire episode to you and to whatever the fans want to talk about. So comment on our YouTube page, tweet us, Facebook stalk us, or just if you know us, tell us in person what your topic is, and Robert and I will talk about it and choose the best one for the podcast.
And for just 3 cents a day, you can become a Patreon supporter.
There you go.
That's all it takes. 3 cents a day.
There you go.
And you can keep food in my belly and shoes on Randy's feet.
Keep the malaria away.
Oh, God.
I need to fill my belly.
Your belly is swollen with worms. In the arms of an angel. Just sad photos of you, just like top ramen.
That is, yep. I can pose for that all day long.
I'm not above making a Sarah McLachlan style video with you and I looking sad.
For just 3 pennies a day, you too can ensure that Chrisco Industries stays open.
All right. I would like to go ahead and thank our Patreon supporters, Adraxis, James, and Arcane Scroll. Y'all is awesome. You is our people, and we appreciate everything that you do for us.
Thank you. Sir. Thank you very much.
Randy, do you want to take over telling people where they can find us this week?
Sure. Hit us up on Twitter. You can find us at CriscoCast. Facebook, you can find us at Chrisco Industries. Our YouTube channel, as we mentioned before, is at Chrisco Cast. Also, patreon.com/Chrisco Industries to support our podcast.
That /. Ooh, I like that.
/ is falling forward to the right.
And as always, it would not be a R&R Sports podcast without thanking the great Dave Grohl.
Oh yeah, praise be unto you, the rock god.
He is the man. He is the man. One day we'll have enough money that the Foo Fighters can be our intro music on this show. Have you seen the licensing fee?
Heroes.
It's going to be heroes. It's got to be plural for both you and I.
Oh, because we're the heroes?
As they go. Yeah.
Now that's real money. You hire the Foo Fighters to write a theme song for you.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Or Dave's just like, yeah, I really like your show, guys. Yeah, I'd like to do something for you. And it's like, really? No. And then he
really
takes his pants down and pees on you.
Where did we go wrong? I used to be a Grammy winner. Look at me now.
No teeth, hair falling out, singing songs for you idiots.
Back in my day, we smashed people like you with our beer bottles.
Oh, man. Got to bash the fash. All right, buddy boy. It has been another wild, exciting episode. And though we lament at its close, we will see you next week. So for Rando, I am Robert, and you have listened to another wonderful episode of the R&R Sports Podcast.
Ooh, yeah.